Jeannie, when I was about 18, 19, I saw a band called The Reapers. They came to Birmingham in UK, where I was living at the time, and I saw The Reapers about three times in quite close times, I think over the space maybe 2 years or something. And you were in The Reapers.
I was.
Yeah. So I'm pleased to meet you. So, okay, it was a great team, the Reapers. I have to say, the music was expertly done, and you were part of that. Were you a good team player?
Yeah, I am a team player. I can work on my own, but I am a good team player as well. And I really enjoyed being part of the Reapers. Yeah.
Okay, the venue that you came to was Hockley Pentecostal Church, which had two lady pastors, Miss Fisher and Miss Reeve, and they built up quite a big church. I mean, everybody in Birmingham seemed to know about the Hockley Church, and it was featured on the local TV. And so, when the Reapers came, you came at the height of what was going on there. What do you remember about the Hockley Church?
It was thriving and we had a blessed time. I think one of the things I remember was a funny story, actually, where Miss Reeves and Miss Fisher kindly made us at home. And if I remember rightly, we went up these steps. And as we went up there, there was this like really big chair, like a throne, and it had Evangelist Don Double, a label written on it, and Don was laughing, saying, "That's my chair, you can't sit on it." And we were saying to him, "Oh, Don, can we sit on it?" So we had some laughs as well.
I remember that chair. I think it was a red chair, and it did look like a throne. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was Don's vision that the Reapers should help support him with the tent missions that you did and the various touring, because it was a very busy time, wasn't it?
It really was. Don had a vision that there would be a band, a group named the Reapers. And I had been at Bible College, and Derek Bond was also at the Bible College. And when the time come to finish, Derek said to me, if I get in a band, I'll let you know. Well, that's how it all began for me. And I went, if you like, for an interview, in quotes, and saw Don, and Don felt it was right and had a word for me. And also, somebody prayed for me, and I can't even tell you who the person was to this day. And he had almost the identical word that Don had. So it really confirmed that I was to be in the Reapers to me.
That sounds good. Yeah, when the
Yeah,
Holy Spirit confirms things
yeah,
to us. Yeah. And you were at the right place, the right time. That's good.
yes.
So with the big top, the tent that you had and you toured around with, you get quite a lot of people in there, and there must have been quite a lot of work to do, with just practical things. But you were in the Reaper, so you didn't have to do any of that kind of practical work, did you, Jeannie?
It really was quite hard work, actually, Paul. I can remember somebody actually come up to me while I was cleaning the tent pegs, and I loved cleaning those tent pegs. I can picture it now, going round giving them a good old scrub. And I remember this lady said to me, "But you're on a platform. What you doing cleaning tent pegs?" And I thought, "But I'm really enjoying this." So yeah, it was hard work. And I think sometimes people thought because we were on a platform, we didn't do practical things like clean tent pegs. But oh yeah, we certainly mucked in. And David Abbott was wonderful. He was so patient, and he had to get that tent up within a certain time. And it wasn't easy. And so we all had little jobs to do to function, to be ready for that crusade or that camp. So, yeah, that's how it worked.
I remember the musicianship in the Reapers was a very high standard, and you were well known for your harmonies. I know there are some tunes on YouTube now.
Yeah.
The harmonies are really quite exquisite. So, did you work hard at the harmonies?
Well, they come fairly natural to me, although sometimes if you give me a certain note, I'll be able to pick out the different harmony.
Did it? You never had any hiccups with the harmonies because the harmonies are hard. They are
Yeah,
hard.
we really did. I remember we were doing a Christmas song and we were around Kerry and Leslie's where the studio was, and we all went into different rooms to learn our part. And by the time we all come back to sing our parts, you heard one part, we all forgot our parts. So we all had to go back and relearn them again. That was quite amusing.
Yeah. So, yeah, by this time, Kerry Mania had joined you, and Kerry was a brilliant musician and he's quite well known. So, you must have been blessed to have Kerry in the band with you.
Yeah, much so. We had Tony Metric, who played the piano. And I have to say, you should hear Tony play the organ. He's amazing, absolutely. And Derek Bond, such a good guitarist. And also we had Rob as well, and he
That's
sang
Rob Newey.
Robert Newey, yes, and he sang the lead vocal often, and it was a really good teamwork, I would say. And then
Yeah.
Kerry come along. I mean, when Rob came to join the Reapers, he really added a dimension to the group. And then when Kerry Monier come, he added another dimension to the group with his expertise because Kerry was in a band called the Gentle Giant years ago. And so he stretched us more, I think. So that was really good for each of us. And one day, I remember we were going for a walk. We'd been out and we saw one of Kerry's albums, and I believe it was one with a jester on the front. And we were saying, Kerry, look, there's one of your albums in the shop. Look, that's yours. So yeah.
Yeah. You'd still have to pay for it, though.
Yes, that's right, Paul.
Yeah, so Gentle Giant, they're still famous, and people
Much.
want to hear about them. And I believe there are tribute bands around for Gentle Giant. There's certainly one.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
yeah, so talking about album covers, Jeannie, can I
Mm,
just show you an album cover that the Reapers did?
okay.
And it's called I Owe Everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I should think you did owe everything as well because that car looks really expensive.
It was a great car, and we hired it out for the morning or for a couple of hours.
Oh, I thought it was your touring car as well.
No,
No,
no.
okay.
But it was amazing because it was a really cold day, absolutely freezing. And it was like, oh, we got to smile and make a nice cover here for the album. And of course, it was really cold and our fingers were going blue. And so, yeah, we were smiling and almost gritting our teeth at times.
I
And
can
you've
see
got
you smiling there. Yeah.
yeah, you've got Derek there, the driver, and you've got George Telfer, who was with us for a while. Then you've got
He
Rob.
played bass, did he,
He
George?
did, he
Yeah.
did play bass. Then you got Rob, and then you
Yes.
got me, and then you got Tony on the end
Okay.
there.
Now, Rob was always immaculately dressed, and
Yeah,
I can see he's got his suit on there in that album cover as well.
yeah. He often wore a suit.
Yeah, and of course, Rob is also still singing, and
Yeah,
yeah, and that's great.
yeah.
And I believe, sorry, Ginny, carry on.
In fact, Paul, I was only listening not so long ago to one of Rob's albums, and Derek and I had done the backing vocals on there to Welcome Home. And it was a good song, and it came out really well.
Yeah, great. I've heard that. Yes, he's great backing vocals and a good album.
Yeah,
Yeah, Rob Newey. Yeah, and you also you when the Reapers lasted about 9 years or so.
yeah,
So
roughly.
yeah, that's a good stint for a band. Then I know that you did some recordings by yourself.
Mm.
One recording was it heard by Dave Fitzgerald, who's a very good musician, and he commended you on your singing. Is that correct?
Yeah, he did. And he felt that I needed to work with people who could stretch me, shall we say, and get the best out of me. And he was very encouraging, actually. And I really valued his opinion, being such a good musician.
And I know you played at a couple of other venues. You won in London. That was a big crusade type of thing. You sang there, and
Yeah.
you sang at churches and weddings and things like that since the days of the Reapers.
Yeah, I have. I kept my hand in music, as you say, sang at church, sang solo and things like that, and also doing some interviews within the church too. So yeah, yeah, kept my hand in the music.
Okay, that's great. And I know that you're still singing, of course. I mean, you sang solo on Midnight in Harlem, and that's quite a
Yeah,
popular song.
yeah,
People love
Midlight
that. Yeah.
in Harlem. Yeah, it's a really good song actually, and that took a little bit of practice to do, as you know, Paul.
Well, Dave Fitzgerald said we need to be stretched as musicians, and that's important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep on, don't stay where you were, because I know that your music it's moved on.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yes.
that's the thing, because some people they kind of stay where they were, 30 years ago or so, but music
Yeah.
moves on,
And I think I'm learning a little bit of a different style as well, like the blues and things like that, which I love. And it's stretching me. And it's, as you say, Paul, it's good to be stretched musically. And that has been great because, and Dave Fitzgerald, he was good at that because he saw potential. And as I say, that was encouraging to me because it made me work that bit harder, shall we say.
Yeah. Now, when you're in a band,
Mm,
and you're all kind of living close to each other and touring around, there's a syndrome. It's called TOTS, TOTS.
okay.
It's touchy on tour syndrome. Now,
Ah,
I'm
yes.
sure that the Reapers didn't get that. And didn't you have one day where you were especially kind to each other?
Oh, yeah. We decided to have a be kind today, to one another. And I have to say, they were opening doors for me. Everybody was being very polite and kind. But do you know what, Paul? It was such a strain. It was a real struggle, actually.
Yeah, yeah. And yet we should be like that every day,
Yeah.
shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Because the love of God touches our hearts, and we want to show the love of Christ to people. So, Jeannie, thank you for talking to me today, and I've really enjoyed it
Thank
hearing
you,
about the
Paul.
Reapers.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you, Paul.
Okay. See you then.
Bye for
Bye.
now.